board of SUK. It is our impression that the commission, we have 113 state university and colleges. We have 178 local university and colleges, and we have about 1,008 private higher education institutions in the Philippines, totaling to about 2,000 higher education institutions. The commissions, based on record, there is no single polytechnic university offers purely technological programs. As such, they have become comprehensive. One offers a technical program and others with the inclusion of other professional degree program. As such, we articulate a strong reservation on this provision of the proposed bill. TESDA should be invited as a resource person only when a certain polytechnic course or program is the subject of the discussion. And beside, I would like to highlight that now, the trifocal education leaders from DepEd and TESDA and higher education with the assistance of the chairman of the CHDE, Honorable Judah Sidre, we are now working well. In fact, we are all aligning our programs. So we suggest to state the bill for SUKs that are either polytechnic or technological universities or colleges, that TESDA Director General may be invited as a resource person during meetings when the subject of discussion is purely technical program. That's all, Honorable. Yeah, we submitted other concerns in our 5 pages position paper. But again, if I may still be given one last opportunity to strengthen our stand on the proposed significant changes in the governing board of SUKs by indicating the Department of Education become a member of the Board of Regents of state university and colleges, particularly those designated as teacher education institution. Given that, our stand is that, given that CHED currently manages an institutional registry and has solidified its collaboration with the Teacher Education Council already, adequate mechanisms are already in place to ensure effective program monitoring, thereby obviating the necessity of direct DepEd involvement in SUK governance. Thus, we seek to remove this position to state, as we stated in our position paper. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate the comments raised by the Commission on Higher Education. Rest assured the committee will consider those proposals. Now, since this is an EDCOM bill as well, would like to recognize the Executive Director of the Second Congressional Commission on Education, Dr. Carol Marquis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to all of the esteemed legislators who are here, members of the Committee and Champions of Higher Education. As many of you know, 8292, or the SUK Modernization Act of 1997, was also a product of the first EDCOM. And so when we were concluding the work of the Second Congressional Commission on Education in our first 3 years, we took it upon ourselves to really review what has happened in the last 30 years in terms of the governance framework of SUCs and what can still be enhanced. I would like to commend our 2 commissioners and co-chairs, Kong Jude and Kong Zia, for filing this measure on the side of the House of Representatives and for championing the reforms needed for SUKs. We would like to highlight 5 positions, and I will try to respond to some of the points earlier mentioned. The first is the inclusion of DepEd for TEIs. We've seen in the findings of EDCOM that 62% of our high school teachers are handling subjects they did not study for. There has been poor alignment between DepEd as well as CHED, and we are seeing that many of our SUCs are offering teacher education programs that are not really consistent with the needs of DepEd public schools. In the same light that we have DA, DOST, as well as other government agencies in relation to their distinct sectoral needs represented in the SUKs. In the last 30 years, we deem it incumbent upon ourselves in the context of our learning crisis to ensure that such coordination is in place so that our SUCs are responsive to the needs of our public schools where foundational education is begun. On the side of TESDA, we propose the inclusion of TESDA for polytechnics and for technological universities. This is really more looking towards the future as to what our aspiration is, instead of responding only to the current status quo. The status quo now is really a result of the lack of coordination in the last 30 years and the inability of TESDA, apologies to TESDA, for building higher level qualifications and institutions that really reflect high-level skills that in other countries you would see, such as Australia and Canada, are those that don't require a college degree but are higher level, level 4, level 5, level 6 even, and level 7 in the PQF framework in other contexts but are currently unavailable in our country. Nakita po natin sa datos, 90% of our NCs are NC1 and NC2 dahil nagkulang po tayo sa pagfo-focus ng higher level skills training and therefore higher level jobs that people can take on afterwards without requiring a college degree. What has happened is, we have college degrees now na actually TVET na nilagyan ng GE, naging college program, naging 4-year bachelors. Humaba yung mga programang sa totoo lang sa ibang bansa, hindi naman kailangan ng 4 years para matapos kasi kaya namang gawin yung training sa mas maiksing panahon. Our proposal is to look forward to the future and to build an ecosystem of tertiary education that is responsive to the distinct and diverse needs of our youth as well as of the workforce, and to consider the inclusion of TESDA as part of the board to be able to achieve that. The second proposal that we would like to highlight is the inclusion of eligibility criteria as to who will be represented in the boards. Alam po natin, I think many of you are also participating in some of the boards or have had participation previously. Minsan po, napakaraming representatives na represented, pero iba-iba yung qualification. Hindi lahat maalam sa education, hindi maalam sa higher education or sa role nila as a representative to the board. And therefore, the proposed measure proposed an eligibility criteria for whoever will be represented in the board, as well as requires training and certification for those who will participate to really empower them to be able to contribute substantively. In the last year, we conducted a survey of all SUCs, and according to the SUCs, they welcome most of the inputs, but they feel that they could benefit from greater, better contextualized inputs from the members, including those that are representing Congress and the Senate, as well as the other agencies who sit in the board. And therefore, that is embedded in the proposed measure. The third item is differentiated autonomy. If you will count the SUCs today, in the last 30 years, 113 na po yung SUCs. Yung commissioners ng CHED 5, at least 23 po ang chini-chair ng bawat commissioner, pero kung hindi pumayag yung chair, actually siya yung uupo sa lahat ng 113 every quarter. Marami pong responsibility ang CHED beyond just sitting in the boards of SUCs. And so the proposal is to provide differentiated autonomy that will ultimately incentivize SUCs to attain higher levels of quality, and if they do that they gain greater levels of autonomy when it comes to academic management, fiscal management, as well as administrative affairs. Kung kaya namang pagkatiwalaan na yung SUC, kung meron silang track record of good performance and quality instruction, baka pwedeng mag-lessen na yung regulation pagdating sa kanila so that they are able to truly innovate and do what they need to do to respond to their context and the innovations of their disciplines. But we respect and agree with the point of the chair that it should not be distinct or should not deviate from national priorities, which is why the measure is also clear that CHED will develop the framework and will develop the implementing guidelines to make sure that that is the case. On the fourth, we just wanted to highlight that the proposal to lower the eligibility criteria for a SUC president to a master's was really looking at the model of UP as well as other universities in many other countries that don't really require by law a PhD degree, because usually it is the Vice President for Academic Affairs that becomes the Chief Academic Officer of the institution, whereas the president does leadership but also does many other responsibilities, including mobilizing the community, engaging with alumni, and also making sure that the university is sustainable and is able to really consult widely and also act on the different matters of the institution that is not always academic. And so we propose that revision, but we defer to the wisdom of the committee as well as to CHED as to what is deemed most appropriate given our context. The last is to institutionalize a Philippine Higher Education Academy, which is a measure and an intervention to make sure that we are doing training of our SUK leaders, those going to high levels of vice president and president and doing succession planning well, and that we invest in that to make sure that we have SUCs that are run competently and with integrity among our higher education leaders. Again, we thank the committee for the opportunity to present the findings of EDCOM on this measure, and we thank our co-chair and commissioner for filing this measure, and we submit for the consideration of the committee. Salamat po.
Thank you, ED Mark. Just for context and for the information of the members, highlighting some of the points that were raised by ED Mark, no, that's the reason why for this year we started the onboarding sessions for congressional representatives to the board, just as a way of addressing that concern. So before we issue designations, we have required members to attend a half-day onboarding session, so there's proper alignment. For the Higher Education Academy, for this year, Chair Shirley and the committee will be working on developing an ad hoc arrangement for SUC leadership development. Hopefully, we'll be able to implement it this year, and this will provide the core for the more institutionalized Higher Education Academy as provided in the bill. Next would be the President of the National Association of Secretaries of SUCs and the Board Secretary of the Technological University of the Philippines. We'd like to recognize Dr. Mona Purganan.
Honorable Chairperson, distinguished members of the committee, good morning. We appear before you today on behalf of the National Association of SUC Secretaries Incorporated to respectfully urge this august body to strengthen and modernize the governance framework of our state universities and colleges through meaningful amendments to Republic Act No. 8292, otherwise known as the Higher Education Modernization Act of 1997. At the heart of our position is a simple but urgent truth that effective governance in our SUCs depends not only on visionary leadership, but on institutional memory, procedural integrity, and continuity. And the office entrusted with safeguarding this is the SUC Secretary. Yet, under Section 7 of RA 8292, the SUC Secretary is described in a single minimalistic paragraph, reduced to keeping records and sending notices of meetings. This statutory understatement does not reflect reality. In practice, the SUC Secretary is the guardian of board resolutions, the custodian of institutional records, the certifying authority of official acts, the bridge between the governing board and administration, and the defender of procedural integrity. In today's SUC environment, where boards exercise expanded fiscal oversight, academic regulation, and compliance responsibilities, the Secretary's role is not clerical, it is strategic. However, because the law remains silent on the nature of the appointment, tenure, qualifications, and independence of the position, the office has become vulnerable. In many institutions, the SUC Secretary is treated as coterminous or at pleasure of the appointing authority. This has resulted in frequent turnover during leadership transitions, exposure to political pressure, and the erosion of institutional memory. When the tenure of the Secretary depends on personal confidence rather than institutional mandate, loyalty risks shifting from lawful process to personalities. That is dangerous for governance. The SUC Secretary documents dissenting votes, certifies sensitive resolutions, preserves records that may later be reviewed by oversight agencies, and ensures that board actions comply with law. If the holder of that office fears removal or non-removal, impartiality is compromised even if only in perception. And in public institutions, perception matters as much as reality. We must be clear, public office is a public trust. Security of tenure is not a privilege for individual. It is a safeguard for the institution. The classification of the SUC secretary as primarily confidential or coterminous is legally inconsistent with civil service principles. The role is institutional, not personal. The secretary serves the governing board as a collegial body and the university as a whole, not the private confidence of a single appointing authority. Moreover, the absence of statutory qualification standards opens the door to appointments based on trust or convenience rather than merit and competence. Yet the role demands expertise in governance procedures, regulatory compliance, records management, and legal administrative processes. If we truly value accountability, transparency, and continuity in higher education governance, then the law must reflect the real importance of this office. We, the NASUCs, respectfully propose that the SUC secretary be first, recognized as a permanent career position with security of tenure and a clear plantilla status. Second, professionalized through statutory qualification standards and clearly defined functions aligned with modern governance practice. Third, structurally independent with clear reporting lines to the governing board and safeguarded from conflicts of interest. Fourth, institutionally ranked in a manner commensurate with the gravity of its responsibilities, similar to the structural recognition given in the University of the Philippines system, where the university secretary is formally recognized within the core governance hierarchy. Our SUCs are not political offices. They are institutions of learning, research, and public service, governed by collegial boards and guided by academic freedom and constitutional principles. Their governance officers must therefore be institutional, not political, rule-based, not personality-driven. Leaving Section 7 unchanged perpetuates ambiguity, vulnerability, and politicization. Amending it with clarity and foresight will strengthen not just an office, but the entire governance system of our state universities and colleges. Honorable members, this reform is not about titles. It is about protecting institutional memory. It is about safeguarding procedural integrity. It is about ensuring that our public higher education institutions remain stable, accountable, and legally defensible across administration. We respectfully urge this committee to seize this opportunity to align the law with governance reality. Thank you, and we humbly submit.
Thank you, Dr. Porganan. You've submitted a copy of the position already?
Yes.
Now we would like to recognize Dr. Chester Alexis Buama, the National President of the Philippine Association of Faculty Regents Incorporated, also the Faculty Regent of the Laguna State Polytechnic University.
Thank
Mr.
you so
Buama,
much.
you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, and members of the House Committee on Higher and Technical Education. So, the Philippine Association of Faculty Regents and Trustees Incorporated, representing the collective voice of faculty legislators across the nation's state universities and colleges, formally submits this position paper regarding House Bill amending RA number 8292. Our association recognizes that while Republic Act number 8292, the Higher Education Modernization Act of 1997 provided a foundation for institutional growth, the complexities of the 21st century academic landscape require a more agile and sophisticated governance framework. We support the House Bill's intent to modernize SUC governance, provided that the sanctity of academic freedom and meaningful faculty representation remain central to its implementation. Restructuring the governing boards, the proposed revision of the composition of governing boards is a critical intervention. Current structures often suffer from curate inertia or political bottlenecks. We welcome the clarification of the board powers. However, we emphasize that any restructuring must ensure that the faculty regent retains a potent voting seat as the primary implementers of instruction, research, and extension for the faculty are the backbone of SUC performance. Regarding the introduction of differentiated autonomy, the proposal to grant autonomy based on institutional capability is the bill's most innovative feature. It rewards high-performing SUCs by reducing bureaucratic red tape, allowing for faster procurement and more flexible curriculum development. However, we must ensure that differentiated autonomy does not lead to a resource desert. For smaller developing SUCs in rural provinces, governance should be a ladder, not a barrier. So to ensure the success of this landmark legislation, the Philippine Association of Faculty Regents and Trustees, Incorporated, proposes the following. Explicit protection of representation. Ensure that the revised composition of the boards does not dilute the voting power of the faculty, student, and alumni regents. Number 2, a clear metrics for autonomy. The criteria for differentiated autonomy must be transparent, peer-reviewed, and include faculty welfare and development as a key performance indicator. Third is the capacity building. Before full implementation, a transition fund should be established to help smaller SUCs upgrade governance structures to meet autonomy standards. So House Bill number 04799 represents a bold leap toward future-proofing the Philippine higher education. By addressing the structural decay of governance and embracing a model of earned autonomy, this bill empowers SUCs to become true engines of regional and national development. The Philippine Association of Faculty Regents, Incorporated, and Trustees, Incorporated stands ready to collaborate with the proponents of this measure. With that, we humbly submit our position, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Boama. We'd like to recognize now Mr. Ron Dexter Clemente, Student Regent of the University of the Philippines. Is he around? If he is not around, we'd like to recognize Ms. Francesca Duran of the National Union of Students of the Philippines, NUSP. Pwede po upuin siya. No. Wag chair.
Committee on Higher Technical Education. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to sit po. So, we are from the National Union of Students of the Philippines. We are the broadest alliance of student councils in the country, and we think this opportunity to be able to share our insights on amendments to the Higher Education Modernization Act. So on our end, as an alliance of student councils, we deeply appreciate any efforts in strengthening the representation and the voice of students in our decision-making bodies in the university. However, as we move to amend the HEMA Act of 1997, we must ensure that this does not dilute the democratic spaces of students. And of course, the primacy of any amendments in our policies on higher education should center on the rights and welfare of the studentry. Particularly on genuine student representation, our current policy provides for a student regent or a student trustee. Yet, in many instances, this representation is often reduced to a mere formality for student regents and student trustees. We must ensure that the selection of student representatives must remain an autonomous process for the students. by the students and for the students. Any amendment must prohibit any intervention from our universities in the selection and recognition of student councils and student regents. Moreover, as mentioned also by our representative from the faculty sector, this should ensure that the voice of student councils, student regents, and our sectoral representatives remain with weight, and that student representatives should have full voting powers on all university matters, especially those involving tuition increases, budget allocations, and disciplinary policies. Finally, Mr. Chair, while we push for the modernization of the governance in our SUCs, we must also recognize that there must be a clear framework in protecting and defending the rights of the student community in the legislative level, as well as other university sectors. So we acknowledge that excellence in higher education works alongside the improvement of the well-being and the situation of our students through expanding student spaces, student services, and the guaranteed protection of the democratic rights of students. We further highlight that while we capacitate and equip the Board of Trustees and Regents of our SUCs, we must ensure that the members of our boards truly represent and forward the interests of educational stakeholders. Governance, if done merely to forward interests of few within our university, then our boards fail as decision makers. If anything, our BORs and BOTs must be taught the essence of bottom-up or democratic governance, wherein consistent consultations, visits, and groundwork is seen from our leaders. So let us pass this law that safeguards and empowers students as the main constituents of our universities. Let us ensure that our modernized SUCs are bastions of democracy, where our community remains at the forefront. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our fellow champions of higher education.
Now we'd like to recognize, since DepDev also sits in the governing board of our SUCs, we'd like to recognize a representative from DepDev, Mr. Edgardo Aranuez.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We don't have our official position on the bills as of right now, but we generally support the points raised by Chair Agrupis, and we will formally send our position paper as soon as it's cleared by our principals. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Would like to request, since in some of the universities, the West is also represented, would like to request if there's a position paper from the Department of Science and Technology.
Yes, Mr.
Or
Chair.
comments.
I think the Department of Science and Technology did not submit any position paper. However, this representation would like to reiterate our support to the most of the proposals from the Commission on Higher Education, except for one item in which the inclusion of a test representative, which seems to be somewhat, I won't use the word unwelcome to the chair, but nevertheless, as a former representative of the board of some of the universities and colleges, and at this point in time at a board of the TESDA, I have a lot of experiences to say that there is relevance in the inclusion of the representation from the TESDA to the operation of the state universities and colleges. With that, Mr. Chair, we submit.
Thank you, Dr. Gatchalian. Last, for this measure, we'd like to recognize the representative of DBM.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Ringo Cristian Santiago.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Our position papers is still at the stage of finalization. However, we would like to provide initial comments on the following provision. So first is on the Section 5 provision of House Bill 4799, which states that a new subsection to be added after the renumbered Section 4, Paragraph O of the same act to read as follows: to decide on administrative matters, including the use of internally generated income, personal management, and student support consistent with law and general guidelines issued jointly by CHED, DBM, and COA. The level of discretion granted shall vary according to the institutional performance and capacity. Relative thereto, we would like to respectfully propose the inclusion of the word financial, considering the DBM as an oversight agency is mandated to provide budget and management policies to all government agencies and entities. Likewise, we would also like to raise for point of clarification on Section 14 of the same House Bill 4799. If this were to include or exclude this proposed bill were to include or exclude the Mindanao State University and University of the Philippines system. Previously, in the RA 8292, it explicitly states that the powers, the charters of these both two universities shall not affect the charters of these both two universities. And lastly, we would also like to raise if there will be an operational definition or terms for the word faculty and institute, since there are universities, state universities and colleges that use these terminologies. The faculty of, like Institute of Science and Technology, there are terms that there are SOCs that use these words. So that's all. Thank you, sir.
We'd like to ask DBM to submit your written position paper in the matter so we could consider the points that you raised.
Okay, sir. Noted, sir. Copy. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot. There's one more resource person. We'd like to recognize Miss Linda Andrade from TESDA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the members of the committee. TESDA expresses its support on the aforementioned bills, and we also express our support on the points raised by E.D. Carol Marquis. That will be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Andrade. So, but do you have a specific position on the inclusion of TESDA in the governing board?
It is in the finalization stage, Mr. Chair. We will submit this, but we don't have any position yet for that.
So before we invite the members to seek clarification or comments on the bills, I would like to start by just seeking clarification from the resource person. A few points lang. From PASUK, Attorney Rosales, you mentioned earlier that you're okay to the introduction of a non-teaching rep, provided that it's institutional and not sectoral. But our usual understanding is that these are sectoral representations, diba? We have the faculty, the student, the alumni. So how are we to appreciate the intention of making it institutional rather than sectoral when, in fact, the nature of the representation is sectoral?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. PASUK recognizes the role of non-teaching personnel in the operation of SUCs. We just mentioned that it should be institutional, not sectoral, because we're seeing a situation wherein a representative of non-teaching personnel will be bringing issues of the non-teaching, whereas that can be resolved on the operational level. But we would appreciate the participation of the non-teaching personnel in terms of policy deliberation, having a broad knowledge on how the SUC operate, Mr. Chair.
So you don't want them to be representing the concerns of the staff, the reps, the non-teaching rep, but you would want them to provide information or clarification from the perspective. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Kasi, how is that going to be different from the faculty regent?
Mr. Chair, admittedly, faculty regent actually is, as mentioned by our respective representative, it's the core of the operations of the institution, and the non-teaching personnel, admittedly, is support for the operations of the university. And some of the issues are actually being tackled on the administrative level, having a strong CSE rules, DBM rules. And so where PASUC is not in a position of actually prohibiting them to raise certain issues, but we would like to elevate the representation as someone who could really, again, enhance the discussion, the deliberation in the governing board, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I just want clarification there, because the reason we're including the non-teaching representatives is to provide parity of representation as compared to the other sectors already being represented in the governing board, like the faculty. And I think for the introduction of issues naman, elevating issues, would all be incumbent on the university president in the preparation of the agenda for the meeting. And I understand in many governing boards, there is a proper filtering of issues before it is raised to the attention of the governing boards. Like, for example, financial matters are approved previously by the finance committee. Academic matters are usually discussed ahead by the academic council. So I don't think there's going to be any confusion in the manner that issues will be raised. So it presupposes that the ordinary course of things are considered before they're elevated. So I think creating that dichotomy between institutional and sectoral representation would blur or probably confuse instead of clarify the intent of representing our non-teaching reps. But anyway, we'll take note of your points po. Ma'am, for Chairman Agrupis, for CHED, you express reservations for the introduction of one more PSR. Just for your appreciation, the reason why we added one more is because we're going to add the non-teaching rep. So that would place the number of members of the GB to an odd number, i.e. the even number. Kasi nagdagdag ka ng isa eh. And we were thinking that it would create difficulties in the voting, distortion in the voting structure of the GB. But nonetheless, we are open to your suggestion to have it explicit that the additional PSR should be an industry representative. If that is something that CHED is open to. Kasi magtatabla ma'am eh kung hindi natin dagdagan ng PSR.
Mr. Chair, can I give my honest? First of all, the PSR comes from the universe of the community. Most often, there is a specific qualification from PSR. So that's why, if we are going to increase the number of PSR, we may maintain the 2 PSR. The 2 options that we are proposing is that in order to have that to address the voting concern, if we are going to increase the number of PSR, we may retain the 2 PSR, but for the other one should be strictly from the industry. Should be strictly from the industry, and let the criteria PSR retain the criteria here set forth in the previous bill, Mr. Chair.
I think that is fair in our opinion, ma'am, but of course subject to the appreciation of the committee. For the fallback position, ma'am, I understand you mentioned that there are concerns whether this would be compliant with the CSC rules, but nonetheless naman from the position of this representation, we're considering that the putting it explicitly in the law would create that exemption legally if ever there are anything any concerns or any potential conflict in the existing law. But nonetheless, with due consideration that given that the full professorship is an academic function, that we provide the collateral that he must have or he or she must have already a PhD.
Mr. Chair, I do not know how we are going to align this, but in other countries or anywhere else in the world, the term professor, is a high-level position in any higher education institution. With due respect to selected or elected president in the different state university and colleges, we do not give points to the rank before they are elected to the president. There are those with PhD degree but still hold assistant professor level. And the rising up from assistant to full professor entails a lot of effort that includes scholarly output, trainings, mentoring of mentees across baccalaureate and graduate degrees. So if we are going to give an automatic fallback position of SUC president without undergoing the usual evaluation scheme, para pong nadedeton ang definition ng professor. But we are now in the present CHED administration now, we have created a technical working group to craft a policy on the fallback position, on the pathway of SUC president, Mr. Chair, in order that in that policy we give due points to the number of years rendered by a certain SUC president in governing the SUC.
Parang credit equivalency, ma'am.
Yes po.
So if you can propose the language so we can harmonize it.
We will submit immediately as soon as the technical working group created present this to the CEB, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Before I proceed, would like to recognize the Honorable Sunny Lagon of Ako Bisaya Party List. To the Honorable Ana York Bondoc of the 4th District of Pampanga, thank you po for your presence this morning. Last question na lang po, ma'am, from CHED. There are concerns whether in the inclusion of TESDA as co-chair, but would there be any objections if in like manner as DA, as in the like manner as DOST, we would include TESDA and DepEd representation insofar as universities that offer the related programs are being offered? In the same manner as the DOST DA.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to clarify that we are not presenting our position here because we do not like TESDA. In fact, they are our friends now. So, but I just would like to bring to the attention of the CHDE po. The general classification of our agenda during board meeting are classified as academic and research, administrative, and financial. So for the involvement of CHED and DepDep, they are really essential because their mandate cuts across the three core functions of the university. For TESDA, with due respect to my friend DG Kiko Benitez, and to the ED Carol Markey, their presence in the board throughout the meeting that may sometimes last for 8 hours may be a loss of time. Just like what we do, there are, as I mentioned a while ago, tatlo po ang classification kasi, academic and research, administrative and financial. So yung TESDA na uupo doon, when we only need his comment on the technological aspect of the academic, we have what we call resource person, just like we do in CHED. When the academic concern or agenda in SUC requires the intervention or idea or wisdom from the Commission on Higher Education, we invite as a resource person po. So again, I subject to the wisdom of the CHDE.
Thank you, Chair. Would like to invite our members to seek clarification, comments, recommendation from the resource person. Are there any questions? If there are none, would like to recognize the Honorable Calderon.
Mr. Chair, I move that we consolidate and approve House Bills number 4799 and 5042, subject to style and amendments, including its committee report. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Calderon and seconded by the Honorable Bocobo and Gatchalian to consolidate House Bill 4799 and House Bill 5042, subject to style and amendments, and including its the approval of the same, as well as its accompanying committee report. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Gatchalian.
I want to move that all members present to be co-author of the mentioned bill, if the authors would permit.
Any second? There is a motion to include all members present, if they wish to do so, be included as co-authors of the measure. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. So we thank the resource persons for their participation in the deliberation. Next item on the agenda would be the bills establishing SUCs. There are currently 5 bills under this item. House Bill 172, a state college in the province of Zamboanga Sibugay, to be known as the Zamboanga Sibugay State College, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 739, an act separating the Ifugao State University Potia campus in the municipality of Alonso Lista, province of Ifugao, from the IFSU in the municipality of Lamut, province of Ifugao, and converting it into a state college to be known as the Eastern Cordillera State College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, ESCAT, authored by the Honorable Solomon Chungalao. The House Bill number 758, an act converting the Makilala Institute of Science and Technology in the municipality of Makilala, province of Cotabato, into a state college and appropriating funds therefor, authored by the Honorable Rudy Kawagdan. House Bill 5594, an act separating the University of Southern Mindanao Kidapawan City Campus, located in the city of Kidapawan, province of Cotabato, from the University of Southern Mindanao main campus, located in the city of Cabacan, province of Cotabato, and converting it into a state college to be known as the South Central Mindanao State College, and appropriating funds therefor, authored by the Honorable Kawagdan. And House Bill 6656, an act establishing the Indigenous Peoples University of the Philippines, and appropriating funds therefor, authored by the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez and Maximo Rodriguez Jr. We would like to recognize first for House Bill 172, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Bocobo to sponsor the measure on behalf of the author.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Honorable Marlesa Doc Marley Hofer Hasim, would like to respectfully sponsor House Bill number 172 and request that the explanatory note be her sponsorship speech. But she wants to note that there is no state college in the province of Zamboanga Sibugay, and that she has already submitted the feasibility study in this committee, and that she will comply with all the requirements needed to be able to create a state college in the province.
Thank you, Honorable Bocobo. The explanatory note to House Bill 172 is considered a sponsorship speech for the said measure. For House Bill 739, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Samuel Chungalao. Sir.
Thank you, Chairman. House Bill 739 was originally filed in the 18th Congress as House Bill 7840 and was approved on November 25, 2020 and transmitted to the Senate on 2026, November 26 of the same year. But it did not succeed because of time. And it was refiled again on the 19th Congress as House Bill 1905 and was approved as House Bill 11468 by the Committee on Rules, which was approved by the House on June 9, 2025 and transmitted to the Senate on June 11, 2025. It was not enacted into law again for certain reasons for time lived. We are now filing it for the third time as House Bill 739, which I believe, Your Honor, the governor of the province of Yucatan was present a while ago supported this bill, and even the officials of the IPSU main campus stated by the President Eva Marie Duguion. So, I pray, Your Honor, that the explanatory note, considering that there are several cases to be tackled, be adopted as by a sponsorship speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chungalaw. For House Bill 758 and 5594, would like to recognize the Honorable Alano to sponsor these said measures on behalf of the Honorable Cawagdan.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of Representative Cawagdan, I move that the explanatory note be adopted as the sponsorship speech for House Bill number 758. And also for the record, Mr. Chair, this measure was adopted or approved on third and final reading in the 19th Congress.
Thank you, Honorable Alano. Last measure under this item, House Bill 6656, would like to recognize the Honorable Rodriguez, Maximo Rodriguez, to sponsor the measure.
If I may, Chairman, esteemed colleagues and resource persons, good morning. I would rather say that the sponsorship speech be adopted, this explanatory note, but I would like just to emphasize that the establishment of the Indigenous Peoples University of the Philippines is a vital step towards realizing the constitutional mandate of protecting and promoting the rights of indigenous peoples. This legislation is an embodiment of the commitment to inclusivity, cultural diversity, and sustainable development, ensuring that no Filipino, regardless of cultural background, is left behind in the pursuit of education and national progress. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Rodriguez. Now we would like to give our resource persons time to provide their comments on the measure, beginning with the Commission on Higher Education. We'd like to recognize E.D. Haro.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. With respect to the HB number 172, an act creating a state college in the province of Zamboanga, Sibugay, we would like to put on record, Mr. Chair, that we also took a look at the existing HCIs within EPIL, Zamboanga, Sibugay. Per our records, Mr. Chair, there are several institutions, for our state universities, yes, we acknowledge that there's no state college, but there's an existing EPIL campus in Wimsu. We also, based on our records as well, Mr. Chair, there are also private institutions operating within the area, offering courses such as elementary education. With that data, Mr. Chair, our office interposes no objection to the intent of the bill to create a state college in the province of Zamboanga, Sibugay. However, considering that the proposed state college will be established from the ground up, we respectfully submit for the inclusion of the following considerations. Of course, for the state college, this should be clearly identified and secured prior to the passage of the bill. With respect to the workforce during the transition period, of course, the implementing rules and regulations should clearly identify the interim workforce that will be responsible for the initial groundwork in establishing the state college. We would like to mention this, Mr. Chair, because unlike conversion laws, the creation of a state college involves a transition period with no permanent officials in place. So without clear provisions on interim authority and responsibility, delays and accountability may arise. That's why we are recommending the same, Mr. Chair. And as I've mentioned, Mr. Chair, that there are other private higher education institutions. There is a branch campus or satellite campus of WIMSU operating in the area. The academic programs must be strategic. It must be able to really determine, one, that there will be no duplication of programs or unnecessary duplications being offered by private higher education institutions operating within the area. So offering of the programs must take into consideration the no duplication as much as possible, unnecessary duplication, and it must be clearly, it must be strategic in a sense that it must really be able to address the concerns of the community in the area. And of course, the compliance with CHED requirements, Mr. Chair, must comply with the requirements for college status, and that all academic programs must secure the necessary COPC, Mr. Chair. We have indicated as well some of our comments to the specific provisions of the bill. We will be submitting, we have submitted it, Mr. Chair, already.
Thank you, Attorney Haro. Next would be our resource person from IFSU, the president of Ifugao State University.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Honorable Chairperson Jude A. Asidre, distinguished members of the Committee on Higher and Technical Education, our esteemed Congressman Solomon R. Chungalaw, our supportive CHED Chairperson Dr. Shirley Agrupis, fellow resource persons, a pleasant morning. I appear before you today as President of Ifugao State University, deeply honored to give support to House Bill number 739. IFSU is here in full force as a clear demonstration of our institutional unity and conviction. With me today are our campus executive directors of Potia Campus and Aguinaldo Campus, our Vice President for Admin, Faculty Regent, and our college deans. Our presence, Mr. Chair, today reflects one voice and one stand. We are one with our dear Congressman Solomon R. Chungalaw in his vision and proposal under House Bill 739. We have already submitted, Mr. Chair, our formal position paper to this honorable committee, respectfully expressing our strong and unequivocal support for the measure. Allow me, Mr. Chair, to highlight the essence of that submission. The establishment of the Eastern College or Eastern Cordillera State College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology will first broaden equitable access to quality higher education, especially for learners in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas of Ifugao and neighboring communities. Second, it would enhance regional research, extension, and development capabilities, particularly in agriculture, science, and technology sectors that are vital to the economic foundation of our province. And third, it would contribute to sustained socio-economic progress within Ifugao and its neighboring areas, ensuring that higher education becomes a direct driver of rural development and inclusive growth. We believe, Mr. Chair, that this legislative action is a strategic investment in human capital, community advancement, and national development, one that honors both institutional readiness and the public good. For us in Ifugao State University, the bill is an investment in our youth, in indigenous communities, in rural development, and in the long-term progress of our province. It reinforces the national government's commitment to equitable and quality education in the Cordillera region. So with humility and firm conviction, Mr. Chair, we respectfully reiterate our full support for House Bill 739 and humbly urge this honorable committee to favorably consider its passage. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair.
Dr. Duguion. Just for clarification, Attorney Haro, that's your position for all the measures na ba? Pero can you be more concise lang para lang kahit mabilis?
Apo, yes, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry, I thought it will we will be given opportunity for each bill, but I apologize for that, Mr. Chair. So I would like to comment already for the Act separate HB 739, Mr. Chair, with respect to the Ifugao State University. We, per our records, based on our data, we acknowledge that there are many really enrollees in Ifugao State University, specifically Posha campus. Per our records, approximately more than 5,000. And we acknowledge as well that in terms of the geographical distance, specifically with the nearest SUC, it's 1 hour away.
2 hours, actually.
2 hours away. 2 hours away from that campus. Initially, we were discussing on how to really effectively render services to your constituents. So what we have indicated in our position paper is really if you can also strengthen the branch campus, not make it a state university and call SUC, because of course making it an SUC would entail considerable financial implication as well. So it would entail additional funding requirements from the national government for governance, administration, staffing, and infrastructure. That is why we are also giving this alternative option, which is really strengthening the campuses. But we, as I've mentioned, we would like to we considered the number of enrollees, the geographical distance of that Posha campus into other campuses. So we will leave it up to the legislators on what will be considered as the appropriate measure with respect to this situation. But we would like to strongly position, provide our position with respect to Section 5, specifically the designation of the President as co-chair of the governing board. In the same way that in other state universities and colleges, the chair, there's no co-chair, there's only the vice chair, chair and vice chair. So we are strongly recommending that this provision be aligned with RA 8292 or what may be amended later on, Mr. Chair. With respect to HB 758, the Makilala Institute of Science and Technology in the municipality of Makilala, we also interpose no objection to the intent of the bill. We have also made our comments and recommendations to ensure the effective implementation of the bill. The local government that established the Makilala Institute of Science and Technology should be clearly informed that upon its conversion into state college, governance and control over the institution, including its assets and personnel, shall be transferred to the national government in accordance with applicable laws and policies. And we also indicated our position with respect to the co-chair in the governing board, Mr. Chair. So having taking into consideration, Mr. Chair, we also would like to give another option, which is integrating the Makilala Institute of Science and Technology as a regular campus of the University of Southern Mindanao. But again, we will leave it to the legislators what's the appropriate measure with respect to this, Mr. Chair. And last, Mr. Chair, with respect to Makilala, that the proposed institution must comply with all the requirements for college status. Same with if it will be another state college for IFSU, then must comply with all the requirements for college status, and that all academic programs must secure the necessary COPC, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, no objection, but see manifestations that it would entail significant additional funding and requirements from the national government for governance. Separation of the USM from the USM main campus may have implications for the institutional quality and sustainability of USM, Mr. Chair. So same manifestations with respect to the specific provisions of the bill. Let me just mention this one with respect to the incumbent president of the USM shall serve, per Section 9, it shall serve as the first president of the college. However, it should be noted that the USM KCC campus does not have a president but a chancellor, consistent with its organizational structure. So it is recommended that the provision be revised to designate the incumbent chancellor as OIC of the State College, Mr. Chair. And again, the same requirements, section with respect to the compliance with the CHED requirements, Mr. Chair. And as to HB 6656, an act establishing the Indigenous Peoples University of the Philippines, the office recognizes the laudable intent of the bill to expand access to higher education. But there are some things that we would like to be indicated, Mr. Chair. So the office recommends that the objectives of the bills be pursued through the strengthening of indigenous peoples, focus programs, and affirmative action mechanisms within existing SUCs, rather than through the creation of a separate standalone university to promote inclusive education, student diversity, and efficient use of public resources, Mr. Chair.
Haro, but hindi ba nagiging it's difficult to implement affirmative action, especially when, because I've seen there are some local colleges and universities, especially in Zambales, the integration has become a problem, especially if the context and the cultural ecosystem puts them as a great disadvantage already. Wouldn't be, and also I think the intention of the authors and the Honorable Rodriguez is here, so that we can also provide higher disciplines in indigenous knowledge and knowledge systems. Maybe that's one thing that we can also address by establishing City of the Philippines.
Mr. Chair, we acknowledge what you have mentioned, Mr. Chair. But what we are promoting as a direction in the Commission on Higher Education is really promotion of the affirmative action plan among all state universities and colleges without really segregating one university for that purpose, Mr. Chair. That's why we have mentioned that it might be viable also that instead of creation of a specific university for that purpose, that it might be that we should be able to strengthen the affirmative action plans of all SUCs, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Rodriguez would like to raise a point.
Can you show me moves to that effect? Because, time passed so fast. Time really go fast, and then disappearing languages, dialects of these indigenous peoples is really a thing that we should prevent. Did you have any initiative on that? Since you said that existing SUCs should be endeavored to do that on their own in their respective schools in the country. Has there been moves to that effect?
Yes, to answer the Honorable Congressman, yes, Mr. Chair, among our state universities and colleges, there are initiatives for the affirmative action plans, Mr. Chair. We have initiated a program towards this last year, Mr. Chair, but I will just take a look at the data that we were able to gather with respect to this, Mr. Chair.
If there are certain initiatives on that, then maybe we will have to evolve into this specialization of these indigenous peoples, and then bring close to the university itself how we can preserve the dialects, the customs, traditions, everything. Exactly. I know of certain moves like that in Bukidnon, but it is not so concentrated. It's not so specialized. So this university will specialize on this endeavor to preserve the customs traditions of indigenous peoples. No?
Actually, that's my point exactly, Honorable Rodriguez. Rather than just focusing on the access of IPs to higher learning that can be addressed by affirmative action, I think the unique selling proposition of a IP University of the Philippines would really be on the enhancement and enrichment as well as preservation and promotion of indigenous knowledge systems. Because similar models or all over the world, especially in Canada, no, where the natural progression of traditional learning really has to be aligned with the existing educational system, so much so that there is equivalency between traditional IP education with a tertiary counterpart. Na there's emphasis on indigenous knowledge systems. So it's more of the content and enrichment of the content rather than just being limited by the need for access for higher education, because as mentioned by Ched, that can be better addressed by affirmative action interventions. Pero ang hindi naman madi-deliver ng regular na SUC would be the academic disciplines or the indigenous knowledge. Pero ang tanong ko lang, sir, is there already a school site for this?
Wala pa, because we envision that, for example, in Mindanao, we are going to establish that in the center of Mindanao. That is Maramag, no? We are looking for ways how we can do that. Maybe in conjunction with certain local government units, because they themselves are interested to have these schools, no? To this specialized school, and for we are establishing the central airport of Mindanao that is now soon to open in Quezon, and that is the center of Mindanao. Maramag is close to Quezon, and we think that with a certain kind of specialized school or university, it will enhance the preservation of their cultural traditions.
So, Honorable Rodriguez, you would be amenable to amending Section 3 because in Section 3 it specifies that the main campus would be in Cagayan de Oro City. So, are you okay to keep it more generic for in the meanwhile?
Yes, I think so, because it's a matter of availability, but the preference is more proximity to the people themselves, the indigenous peoples, and that is Bukidnon. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Would we like to ask a question?
I'm just sorry.
York.
Mr. Chair. I'm just curious, ano po yung percentage ng mga indigenous people po na nakakapunta sa Pusa College?
Dr. Haro? Ched would have...
Kung alam niyo po,
sorry.
I'm sure you gather din naman yung personal information po ng mga naka-enroll po. Like for example, sa Mindanao State University, ano po ang percentage ng mga indigenous po na tinatanggap niyo po doon? I'm just curious to find out, baka naman 20% na sila, or baka naman 0.0002% na lang po ang nakaka-college. So, I'm actually interested about this kasi may indigenous people din po sa Pampanga. And I'm actually quite curious kung ano po yung kanilang rate of tertiary education po. And this is a very interesting bill po.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Dr.
Actually,
Attorney Haro.
if I remember in the budget hearing, this was asked also as to the number of indigenous peoples which are enrolled in our colleges, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, I don't have the data now. Can I provide that data later on, Mr. Chair? We were able to gather it, but I don't have it right now. We can provide it.
Can we ask the Ched to provide
Yes,
a more
Mr. Chair.
comprehensive situation of IP higher education? Is it possible? So we can
Yes,
furnish it to the Honorable Rodriguez and the Honorable Bundok.
May I add, Chair?
Yes, Honorable Rodriguez.
It's a very appropriate question because, Abanti Mindanao party list has given so much assistance to scholarships in some ways, no. But then I learned that those from the indigenous peoples group nahihiya mag-aral sa university, you know. So there should be a beginning, kind of a jumping point of this students that come from these peoples, mold them into first the education in the grade school, and then comes to the college. Nahihiya sila eh. So nawawala na yung language sila, nawawala na yung culture, feeling of yung ano ba, yung pride of a indigenous people that somehow while they are really struggling to do college, then there should be some kind of some incentive to them, and that is to give an atmosphere of wholeness, no, so they can really finish college. Thank you.
Yes, because actually I was able to visit Botolan Community College in Zambales, and initially there were very few IPs who would enroll until they created a separate section, all IPs. And when it was all IPs, there was increasing interest for them to more be active in the learning and even complete their education. And the same IP graduates are the ones teaching now the IP students of Botolan Community College. Anyway, for the last resource person, I'd like to ask DBM, if DBM is still here, or if DBM is not here, then we will ask the members if you have other questions. If there are none, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Gatchalian.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of House Bills number 172, 739, 758, 5594, and 6656, including the respective committee reports, subject to style and amendments. I so move, Mr. Chair.
And a second?
Second.
There is a motion by the Honorable Gatchalian, duly seconded by the Honorable Bondok, to approve House Bill 172, 739, 758, 5594, and 6656, together with its accompanying committee report subject to style and amendments. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Congratulations to the authors. Next set of measures would be bill establishing regular campuses of state universities. We would like to begin with the indulgence of the other members. We'd like to ask the Honorable Bondok to sponsor, Honorable Bondok to sponsor House Bill 7123.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And for our, we would like to adopt our explanatory note as our sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Honorable Bondok. The explanatory note to House Bill 713 shall be considered the sponsorship speech for the said measure. Now I would like to recognize the Honorable Sunny Lagon to sponsor House Bill 6905.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the interest of time, I move that the explanatory note of this measure will be entered as my sponsorship speech. And I, together with Honorable Daphne Lagun, fully and strongly advocate for the passage of this bill for the educational needs of our constituent in the 6th District of Cebu. Daghang salamat, Mr. Chair.
Maraming daghang salamat, Kong Sani. For House Bill 6208 and 6209, on behalf of the Chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, the Honorable Micaela Angela Swansing, would like to recognize the Honorable Alano, Vice Chair, to sponsor said measures.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the respective explanatory notes be adopted as the sponsorship speeches for House Bill or House Bills number 6208 and House Bill number 6209. And for the record, also, Mr. Chair, both measures were approved on third and final reading during the 18th and the 19th Congress. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Alano. Now we will proceed with our resource persons. Beginning first, we'll start with the specific universities first. For House Bill 6208 and 6209, we'd like to recognize the President of the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, Dr. Rodora Hugo.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So, Honorable Chair, Representative Jude Asidre, distinguished members of Congress, our good Congresswoman of Nueva Ecija, Congresswoman Swansing, our Chair, Chad, Dr. Shirley Agrupis, fellow SUC Presidents, good afternoon. On behalf of the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, we express our sincere gratitude and admiration to the author of these measures, Congresswoman Micaela Angela Swansing, for her strong commitment to expanding access to quality higher education in Nueva Ecija. We appreciate the opportunity to present NUST's position of House Bills number 6208 and 6209. NUST fully supports the intent of establishing campuses in Aliaga and Coyapo, as these areas have significant potential to strengthen local human capital development and broaden educational access in our province. We respectfully highlight key implementation considerations to ensure sustainability and compliance with national standards. First, the availability of a suitable and legally tenable campus site is a fundamental prerequisite for infrastructure development and long-term viability. Second, adequate and sustained budgetary support is essential for personnel services, facilities, equipment, and operations. Third, organization and staffing must strictly follow National Budget Circular number 589, requiring phased personnel deployment and qualified campus leadership. Lastly, academic programs must align with CHED memorandum orders and undergo full evaluation and accreditation with careful rationalization to avoid duplication given the proximity to existing NUST campuses. NUST stands ready to implement these measures responsibly in coordination with Congress, CHED, DBM, and the concerned local government units. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Hugo. Sunod po, House Bill 6905, Dr. Raylan Capuno, the Vice President for Academic Affairs of the Cebu Technological University.
Honorable Chair of this committee and to the rest of the members of this Committee on Higher and Technical Education, maayong hapon. As far as Cebu Technological University, we submitted the position paper for House Bill number 6905, and CTU is strongly support the establishment of this bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Capuno. Next, we'd like to recognize the President of PISAO, Pampanga State Agricultural University, Dr. Anita David.
Mr. Chair.
Bill 7123.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, to the members of the Committee on Higher and Technical Education, and of course, Congressman Ana York Bondoc, to everybody, magandang hapon po. PSAU recognizes the establishment of campuses in San Luis, Minalin, and Masantol as a vital step toward expanding access to quality education in agriculture and allied disciplines. These campuses will not only serve as centers for instruction, but also as hubs for research, extension, and production activities, thereby contributing to the development of Pampanga and reinforcing PSAU's role as a progressive leader in its areas of specialization. More importantly, the creation of these campuses will allow students from the identified municipalities to pursue higher education without the burden of traveling long distances. It will provide opportunities for young people to engage in agricultural innovation, food security initiatives, and rural development, among other fields. In terms of location, PSAU recognizes the distinct strengths of each municipality as an opportunity to harness them through specialized programs. San Luis, with its fertile lands, is suited for rice and corn production. Minalin, known for its poultry and livestock industries, can benefit from programs in animal science and agribusiness. Masantol, with its coastal resources, is ideal for aquaculture and fisheries. By tailoring programs to these local contexts, PSAU can ensure that education remains relevant, practical, and impactful. For its expansion to be successful, adequate resources must be secured, infrastructure should meet modern academic standards, and faculty and staff must be recruited and trained to deliver quality instruction. Equally important, strong partnerships with local government units, cooperatives, and farmers associations are essential to integrate the campuses into their communities and to strengthen extension and training programs. PSAU fully supports the establishments of these campuses with a recommendation that San Luis campus be established first, given current budget limitations. A series of meetings have already been conducted with the local government unit of San Luis, which has committed the building to serve as the initial facility for the campus. Although the structure requires just minor renovations, it is found to be suitable and appropriate to begin operations. This readiness makes San Luis the most practical starting point for the expansion. Furthermore, the initial survey conducted by the San Luis LGU confirmed strong demands, with more than 150 prospective students expressing interest in fisheries, animal science, and crop science. This clear indication of potential enrollment, combined with the municipality's readiness, positions San Luis as the optimal initial site, with Minalin and Masantol campuses to follow, upon securing, of course, sufficient appropriations. With regard to this, dedicated initial funding, sustainable budget allocation, provision for capital outlay, and support for climate resilient programs are also needed. In light of these considerations, PSAU fully supports House Bill number 7123 with due regard to the recommendations outlined above. With the support of the local government units of the concerned municipalities and districts, the provincial government, and the Commission on Higher Education, PSAU commits to upholding the same standards of excellence in the new campuses as in its main campus. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. David. Now, to comment on all the measures, we'd like to recognize Attorney Haro.
Mr. Chair, before we proceed with our comments, we would like to manifest that we recognize that there are no HEIs in Municipality of Aliaga, Municipality of Quiapo, Municipality of Cordova, and municipalities of San Luis, Minalin, and Masantol. So taking into consideration, Mr. Chair, that there are no HEIs in the area, of course, we are not, we interpose no objection to the intent of the bill seeking to establish regular campuses in these municipalities. But we would like to put forth some of our recommendations in order to effectively implement the provisions of this law. Specifically, the specific locations of the proposed campuses should be clearly identified and formally secured prior to the enactment of the bills to ensure that appropriate facilities and infrastructure can be properly planned and developed in compliance with applicable building safety and regulation and educational standards. And then the campuses should carefully plan and determine their initial program offerings and identify niche or flagship programs that will distinguish them from existing state university and colleges within the province in order to promote the effective and efficient use of the institutional resources. With respect to CTU, Mr. Chair, we would like to same manifestation. only that the title of the bill may be revised to include the term regular such that the campus shall be designated as regular campus for clarity and consistency with existing classification of SUC campuses, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Haro. Are there any other comments from the members? If there are none, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Gatchalian.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of House Bills numbers 6208, 6209, 6905, and 7123, including their respective committee reports, subject to style and amendments.
Any second?
Seconded.
There is a motion to approve by the Honorable Gatchalian to approve House Bill 6208, House Bill 6209, House Bill 6905, and House Bill 7123, duly seconded by the Honorable Bondoc. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Honorable
Chair,
Rodriguez.
may I move that all members present be made co-authors of House Bills 6205, 6209, 6905, and 7123.
Any second?
Seconded po.
There is a motion to include all members present, if they wish to do so, as co-authors of the measures. Motions duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Congratulations to all the authors. Now we proceed to the next item on the agenda, deliberation on bills modernizing and expanding technical vocational education and training through the integration of emerging technologies and digital green and future-ready skills. There are 3 bills under this item: House Bill 165, House Bill 1698, and House Bill 4037. On behalf of the authors, we would like to recognize the Honorable Gatchalian to sponsor the measure.
Mr. Chair, this is to sponsor House Bill number 165 and House Bill number 1698, authored by Representative Vicencio Renato Luigi Villafuerte and Representative Miguel Luis Villafuerte, respectively. I move that their explanatory note to be adopted as their sponsorship speech.
There is a motion duly seconded to consider the explanatory note to House Bill 165, 1698, 4037 as a sponsorship speech for the said measures. And objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Now we will provide TESDA, and for the next couple of bills, TESDA will be the main resource person. We'd like to recognize Ms. Linda Andrade for their position on the said measures.
Okay, good afternoon again, Mr. Chair. For the aforementioned bills, TESDA acknowledges the proposed TechVoc 2.0 Act as it aligns with agency's mandate to strengthen and modernize the technical vocational education and training, enhance industry responsiveness, and expand access to inclusive and relevant lifelong learning opportunities for Philippine learners and workers. However, may we put forward, Mr. Chair, our following inputs and comments on this bill, House Bill 1698. On Section 3, Mr. Chair, we would like to revise letter A. Instead of using instead of modernized TESDA accredited programs, it should be modernized TESDA registered/recognized programs to include digital, green, and innovation-based skills. On Section 4, Mr. Chair, TESDA has continuously expanded and updated its program offerings in response to current trends and industry standards. In this regard, the agency has identified priority sectors, which includes the ICT. Furthermore, pursuant to TESDA Circular Number 32, or the implementing guidelines on enhanced Green TVET frameworks, TESDA has been integrating environmental sustainability, climate action, and green skills competencies into its training regulations. In line with the proposed amendments under Section 3, Mr. Chair, we would like to suggest the inclusion of the provision to read as follows. Across all key sectors, TVET programs shall integrate innovation-driven competencies such as entrepreneurship, creative problem-solving, design thinking, research product commercialization, and intellectual property to support job creation, enterprise development, and adaptability to evolving workforce demands. On Section 5, On Section 5, Mr. Chair, establishing TechVoc Innovation Lab, we would like to inform this committee that they already have the regional TVET innovation centers, and these are already present nationwide po, and we are looking forward in harmonizing this TESDA initiative in moving this proposed bill forward. So on Section 6, ladderized education and industry academic alignment, may we inform the Honorable Committee that the provisions stated herein are already also being implemented through the enterprise-based education and training programs in accordance with RA 12063 or the IBET Framework Act. Further, with respect to the second paragraph of Section 6, TESDA notes that alignment with the Philippine Qualifications Framework is operationalized through mechanisms such as the Philippine Credit Transfer System, which allows learners to transfer academic and technical credits when moving across educational pathways. So, in view of the foregoing, TESDA supports the objectives of the TechVoc 2.0 Act and stands ready to provide technical guidance and policy support to ensure the modernization of the TVET programs, integration of green and innovation-based skills, and expansion of the industry-responsive training. On Section 7, Mr. Chair, is scholarship and institutional support. We would just like to manifest our reservation in the participation of TechVoc institutions may access grants for laboratory upgrading, faculty training, and curriculum development. This is so, Mr. Chair, because it entails so much funding support, and for the appropriation for this year, it's already allocated na po. Likewise, Mr. Chair, on Section 8, Skills Forecasting and TechVoc Advisory Council. So, we pose no objection in coordination with the DepDev and DOLE and the public to publish the National Skills Forecast Report. Likewise, Mr. Chair, we would like also to inform the committee that the TESDA already has its skills forecasting report, and we also have our granularized area-based and demand-driven TVET. And Mr. Chair, towards this end, I would just like to seek clarification on the Independent TechVoc Advisory Council, which will be appointed by the TESDA board. May we respectfully inquire on the purpose of this council, because the TESDA board is already existing. That would be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Ms. Andrade. We will take note of your query, considering that the authors are not here, but nonetheless, rest assured that with due consideration to the current composition of the current composition and functions of the TESDA board will be considered, given the fact that that is not the primary object of the bill. Before I proceed, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Adrian Salceda of the 3rd District of Albay, the Honorable Eulogio Leo Rodriguez, Lone District of Catanduanes, Vice Chairperson of this committee. Next, we'll proceed with the next resource person, but we'd like to ask the resource person, in the interest of time, to be more concise and direct with their comments, beginning with the Undersecretary Chodoro Gatchalian of the UST.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I sit as a member of TESDA board, as I mentioned a while ago, Mr. Chair, and we would like to forward some reservations over these bills creating training centers within the TESDA. It was clearly stated in the findings of the EDCOM report too, during the latest series of meetings we have conducted.
That would be treated on a different item. We're just in the House Bills 172, 739.
Okay.
No.
Sorry,
no,
Mr. Chair.
165, sorry.
Thank you. I thought we were already referring to the TESDA bills.
No,
Thank you.
only for the TVET integration of emerging technologies, digital green and future-ready skills. Do you have any objections?
In the integration of all these programs, especially the Green Tibet and many others, we fully support that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ayusek Gatchalian. Next would be Ms. Christine Antoinette Dalion of DOLE. Is she still around?
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chair. For the Department of Labor and Employment, we further support the development of the annual skills forecast to complement existing labor market information products and ensure that TVET modernization stays tightly aligned with the rapidly changing skills demand, particularly in digitalization, the green transition, and other future of work shifts. At present, the Department of Labor and Employment issues a job and labor market forecast every 2 years. With this, we will further submit our comments.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Dalion. Next would be Mr. Edgardo Aranjuez of DepDev.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Sir, we generally agree with most of the provisions of the law. Yung sa skills forecasting, sir, this is already part of DepDev's activities. Naka-pipeline naman na po ito. Yun lang, sir, similar to what Ms. Andrada raised on the TechWalk Advisory Council, sir, we just need to clarify, baka lang magduduplicate siya doon sa existing TESDA board already. And then we will also provide officially yung position ng DepDev. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next would be, the last would be Ms. Maylene Aldana, of DTI.
Yeah, good afternoon po, Mr. Chair, and to our honorable members of the committee. So on behalf of the DTI, we express our strong support for the bills that seek to modernize and strengthen our TechVoc education training system. We view that these measures are as timely and strategic as the global economy is undergoing rapid transformation driven by AI, advanced manufacturing, digitalization, and sustainability standards. These shifts are redefining how our industries operate and what skills are required from our workforce. The reform is also aligned with the country's industrial policy under Republic Act number 11981 or the Tatak Pinoy Act. Through the Tatak Pinoy strategy, the government has identified 9 priority sectors from semiconductors and electronics to food processing, automotive, and pharmaceuticals, supported by the pillars on human resources and technology and innovation. We believe that industrial upgrading cannot happen without workforce upgrading. And if we want our industries, including our MSMEs, which accounts for 99.6% of our enterprises and employ millions of Filipinos to move up the value chain, our TVET system must be responsive, future-oriented, and industry-aligned. In this regard po, the department respectfully offers 2 points for consideration. First, that curriculum development and implementation be aligned with existing national frameworks, including the Tatak Pinoy strategy and relevant Philippine skills frameworks to ensure policy coherence and avoid duplication. And second, that strong industry participation be institutionalized in the design and continuous updating of programs so that training remains demand-driven and regionally relevant. Mr. Chair, modernization of TVET is not just an education reform, it is a competitiveness reform. The department po will be submitting its official written position and more detailed comments for the committee's consideration, and the DTI also stand ready to work with the committee and partner agencies to refine and implement these measures. Marami pong salamat.
Maraming salamat, ma'am. May we request all the resource person to submit their written comments so we can incorporate them in the finalization of the substitute bill. Are there any comments from the members present? Any questions? We'd like to recognize now the Honorable Barbers.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I move to consolidate and approve House Bills 165, 1698, 4037, subject to style and amendments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Barbers, duly seconded, to consolidate and approve House Bill 165, 1698, and 4037. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Chair, I
Honorable
request
Rodriguez.
that all members present here be considered co-authors of these measures. Thank you.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Rodriguez to include all members present to be co-authors of the measure if they wish to do so. Duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Congratulations to the authors. Next item would be bills creating training centers. For this 19 measures, we would like to recognize the Honorable Adrian Salceda to sponsor the said measures on behalf of his bills as well as the other bills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I-move ko na lang po, Comsec. Mr. Chair, I would like to move that all the explanatory notes of House of 19 bills be adopted as their sponsorship speech and move for an omnibus approval of the said bills. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Salceda. To clarify, now there is an omnibus motion to consider the explanatory note of the said measures to serve as their sponsorship speech. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Now we would like to give the floor to the resource persons. Okay, we just take note, being a member of EDCOM, our recommendation were to rationalize test training centers towards the direction of local devolution of training. And so to strengthen TESDA's regulatory role as reflected in the proposed new charter of TESDA. But nonetheless, until such time that we will be able to approve those bills, the committee finds it prudent to still pursue the other bills creating these training centers under the current arrangements, with the view that in case the TESDA charter is approved, all of these training centers will be aligned towards the devolution of training, the localized implementation of training. Just for the record, I understand where the objections are coming from. The findings of EDCOMs are pretty clear on this. So we would like to put that on record as to the legislative intent. But until such time that we are able to pass the TESDA charter, we would like to give due course to all the measures that were submitted for the consideration of this committee. I hope that is clear also to the resource persons. But before that, the Honorable D is here. Would the Honorable D like to sponsor his bill?
Thank you, Chairperson Sidre, and to everyone here. Yes, I'd just like to, Mr. Chairman, may I just manifest that the explanatory note be adapted as my sponsorship speech. And I'd just like to add that for a new TESDA center in Isabela, especially with our dwindling support for our agriculture sector, and we need more jobs for outgoing farmers, so it's really needed in our district. So we're just calling upon our committee and for TESDA to help us get one in our district. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable D. The explanatory note to House Bill 3663 is hereby adopted as is the sponsorship speech for the same measure. Now we will resume the time for our resource person, beginning with Ms. Linda Andrade of TESDA. Ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much again, Mr. Chair. So for the bills that you have all mentioned, 19 bills. So may we respectfully submit for the following for your consideration, Mr. Chair. First, TESDA emphasizes the need to align the management of the TESDA training centers with the agency's strategic direction and the recommendations of the Second Congressional Commission on Education, which calls for the consolidation of smaller training institutions into polytechnic institutions. This approach promotes stronger governance, operational efficiency, and standardized high-quality TVET delivery. While the bills place the centers and their administrators under the supervision of TESDA, the authority's administrative supervision pursuant to Section 6 to 15 of RA 7796 extends only up to the provincial level. Moreover, TESDA already maintains provincial offices and training centers covering the municipalities concerned. So in line with TESDA's devolution plan, respectfully propose that the training centers be under the supervision of the municipality concerned. With this, Mr. Chair, we will submit our official position on this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We take note of your comments, and of course, in light of what has been manifested by the chair before the time for the resource persons. Now, I would like to recognize the Honorable Gatchalian. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, actually, we fully submit already to the wisdom of the chair as mentioned a while ago, since there is already pending action as regards this. We just want to reiterate, actually, Mr. Chair, that indeed, while we support the objectives of TESDA, it was highlighted in the EDCOM report, really, that they should be more focused now on how to give the authority, management of institutions to the local government units specifically. So with that, Mr. Chair, we fully submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek Gatchalian. Are there any comments from DepDev on these bills? None. Are there any other comments from the members present on the TESDA Training Center bills, all the 19 bills? If there are none, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Maxi Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the omnibus approval of the 19 TESDA training and assessment bills, including the respective or corresponding committee reports, subject to style and amendments.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Rodriguez, duly seconded, to approve the 19 bills creating training centers as well as their accompanying committee reports, subject to style and amendments. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
I also move that all the authors present here or members of the Congress, our colleagues, be considered as co-authors of these measures. Thank you.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Rodriguez to include all members present as co-authors of the measure, if they wish to do so. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. So congratulations to all the authors. But then again, I'd just like to reiterate that the direction that we're taking insofar as TESDA training centers are concerned are to strengthen the implementation role by devolving it at a later time when the new charter of TESDA will be implemented to the local units or to private training centers, provided full support is given by TESDA in terms of scholarships and funding instruments. Para klaro lang. Last item on the agenda are bills converting extension campuses as state universities into regular campuses. There are two bills on the measure under this item. House Bill 6999, an act converting the satellite campus of Cavite State University located in the city of Trece Martires in the province of Cavite into a regular campus of the Cavite State University, authored by the Honorable Crispin Diego Remulla, as well as House Bill number 7602, an act converting the extension of the Surigao del Norte State University in the municipality of Claver, province of Surigao del Norte, into a regular campus, appropriating funds therefore, by the Honorable Bernadette Barbers. To sponsor both measures, we would like to recognize the Honorable Barbers. Remulla. For House Bill 699, would like to recognize the Honorable Rodriguez to sponsor the measure on behalf of the author.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With the permission of the author, I adopt the explanatory note of House Bill 6999 as a sponsor speech. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. And a second?
Second.
There is a motion to consider the explanatory note to House Bill 6999 as its sponsorship speech. And objections? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next would be House Bill 7602. We'd like to recognize the Honorable Barbers for her sponsorship speech.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Since I'm the last, may I deliver my sponsorship speech. House Bill number 7602, entitled An Act Converting the Extension Campus of the Surigao del Norte State University into the municipality of Claver, province of Surigao del Norte, into a regular campus and appropriating funds thereof. The 1987 Constitution mandates the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality and accessible education, and to establish an adequate integrated system of education responsive to the needs of the society. The Surigao del Norte State University has long been a source of hope and opportunity for students in the province of Surigao del Norte. Through its campuses and extension units, it has opened doors for young people. The SNSU Claver Extension Campus, through operating only as an extension unit, has steadily grown in enrollment and in the number of programs it offers. Its faculty and staff have shown dedication and excellence, proving that the campus is more than ready to make the next step forward. Yet, despite its progress, the campus remains limited by its current status. Without full legislative recognition, it struggles to secure stable funding, expand its facilities, and create long-term institutional planning. Mr. Chair, House Bill number 7602 offers a solution to that. By converting the Claver Extension Campus into a regular campus, we lay the groundwork for sustainable funding, strong facilities, expanded academic programs, and improved governance. We give the institution the tools to fully serve its students and the Surigao non-communities. Most importantly, we invest in our youth. We create pathways for students, especially those from financially challenged families, to complete higher education close to home. We build a skilled workforce, stimulate economic growth, and promote inclusive development. Mr. Chair, for the information of this august body, the municipality of Claver, known for its rich mineral resources and as home to some of the country's largest mining companies, is on the path towards cityhood. The bill granting such status was approved on the third reading in the previous Congress and is now pending before the House Committee on Local Government. It is our hope that the chairperson of the Local Government Committee will soon facilitate its consideration and passage. As the municipality of Claver moves closer to becoming a city, it is only fitting that we take this initial step by approving the proposal to convert the Claver Extension Campus into a regular campus of SNSU, positioning it as one of the premium features to be of the soon-to-be established city. Mr. Chair, the representation believes that when we invest in education, we are investing in the future of the entire province of Surigao del Norte. And for these reasons, I respectfully urge the approval of this measure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Barbers. We take note of the manifestation of the Honorable Barbers, and now we proceed with the comments from our resource persons, beginning with, of course, the very beautiful President of Surigao del Norte State University, Dr. Rowena Plando.
To the Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Jude Asedre, Sir, and distinguished members of the committee, and the Honorable Representative of District 2 of Surigao del Norte, Congressman Bernadette Barbers, to everyone here, good afternoon. On behalf of the Surigao del Norte State University, the administration, faculty and staff, and student body of Surigao del Norte SNSU, I would like to express, firstly, our sincerest and deepest gratitude to Representative Bernadette Barbers for her unwavering commitment to education through the sponsorship of this House Bill 7602. Thank you, Congressman Bernadette. Your support is a lasting investment in the future of our youth and the development of our province. On behalf, again, of SNSU, I am expressing the full institutional support of the proposed House Bill number 7602. The bill is firmly anchored on Article 14, Sections 1 and 2 of the 1987 Constitution, which mandate the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education and to establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, an integrated system of education responsive to the needs of the people and society. The SNSU Claver Extension Campus was established in 2018 to respond to the increasing demand for accessible, affordable, and quality tertiary education in the municipality of Claver and its adjacent communities. Over the years, the Extension Campus has demonstrated steady enrollment growth, operational sustainability, and academic viability, reflecting its strong relevance to the community it serves. It has likewise cultivated meaningful local engagement, stakeholder support, notably the local government unit of Claver, headed by its mayor, Mayor Georgia Gucyanque, has consistently extended assistance, particularly in the provisions of facilities, infrastructure support, and logistical resources, thereby reinforcing the campus capacity to deliver its academic programs effectively. However, despite these positive developments, the Extension Campus has not yet attained formal legislative recognition as a regular campus. Foregoing respectfully reiterates its full and unequivocal support for House Bill number 7602, authored by our very own Congressman Bernadette Barbers. The proposed measure is constitutionally grounded, administratively feasible, fiscally responsible, and strategically aligned with national and regional development goals. Hence, we respectfully urge the honorable members of the committee to favorably consider and approve this legislative initiative. Rest assured that the SNSU will remain ready to assist the committee and any technical working group in providing additional technical documentation, staffing matrices, budgetary projections, or other relevant data as may be required. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'd like to recognize now the representative from CHED, Attorney Peter Carpio.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair. On the part of the CHED, we interpose no objection to the same measure, subject to the usual compliance of CHED. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Carpio. Are there any other comments from the other members present?
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Salceda.
I move to approve House Bill 6999 and House Bill 7602, including the corresponding committee reports, subject to style and amendments. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Any second? There is a motion by the Honorable Salceda, duly seconded by the Honorable Rodriguez and the Honorable Co, to approve House Bill 6999 and House Bill 7602. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Honorable co-authors.
Mr. Chair, may I respectfully move that all members present here today be co-authors of these said measures. So move.
There is a motion by the Honorable Salceda, duly seconded by the Honorable Rodriguez and the Honorable Barbers, to include all members present as co-authors if they wish to do so of the said measures. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Congratulations to the authors. Now, for other matters, we just have one item to discuss. Earlier, we have approved 3 measures: the amendments to the UACTE, the neo-ethnic textile, as well as the amending Charter of CHED. And there were other bills that were recently filed. May we hear a motion to consolidate the recently referred bills to this committee that are similar to bills previously approved by this committee. We have House Bill 6647, 6989, 7078, 7160, 7172, 7228, 7231, 7234, 7315, 7320, 7329, 7354, 7428, and 7674. Do we hear a motion for the consolidation of the said measures?
Mr. Chair, I move to consolidate House Bills 6647, 6989, 7078, 7160, 7172, 7228, 7231, 7234, 7315, 7320, 7329, 7354, 7328, and 7374, with similar measures approved by the CHT in a previous meeting. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Any second? There is a motion duly seconded that we consolidate House Bill 6647, 6989, 7078, 7160, 7172, 7228, 7231, 7234, 7315, 7320, 7329, 7354, 7428, and 7674, with similar measures previously approved by this committee. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved. At this point, we'd like to thank all the House members, the resource persons who stayed up for the last couple of hours and participated in this meeting. The next meeting is scheduled on March 3, 2023, at 26. And during that meeting, we will discuss inquiry into the scholarship programs of CHED and the unfunded satellite campuses that yet to be funded. So I think we just want to remind CHED of your commitments for the data that we need for this said investigations. So thank you once again. Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move for the adjournment of this committee hearing.
Seconded.
There is a motion to approve this meeting. Therefore, hearing no objection, the 9th regular meeting of the Committee on Higher and Technical Education is hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone.